Hello and welcome to round one coverage of the Pittsburgh Flying Disc Open presented by Discraft. BigSexy commentary back at it again after a little hiatus. We're excited to be here.
Absolutely. One of the favorite courses on tour, Moraine State Park here, is just an absolutely beautiful course in the woods. Certainly a course that we all look forward to coming out and playing.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those rare courses where you're in the woods most of the time, but most of the fairways are still nice grass.
Nice grass, and also really, for the most part, pretty fair. There's only maybe a couple holes in the course where I would take down any trees at all. It keeps you honest with a tight line, and you start off here on hole one, which is actually a pretty difficult hole.
Yeah, dead straight, not a lot of room to make any flex moves on the disc really at all. I think Paul looks like he's going to one of those brand new T-Bird 3s he's got.
Yeah, and they just announced that he's from Virginia, which is a new thing for Paul. So.
Yeah, just outside Lynchburg, I think, Forest, Virginia.
Okay.
Looks a little high, but it might be just fine.
Yeah, it's looking really nice. He's just going to fade. He's going to probably be right around circle's edge. And
oh, good call.
Absolutely. What you want to do here, just make that initial gap, keep the ceiling just low enough, and he got the distance there, which is pretty big bonus there for him.
Here's a guy you know pretty well.
Yeah, Austin Turner from Mint Hill, North Carolina, just outside Charlotte. We've been on tour together this year, and he's a young gun who's definitely looking to put his name there at the top of the Pro Tour.
And he's rocking that Overstable Studios hat.
Yeah, he just got that from Juan yesterday.
Third from Denver.
And came up a little bit short there with his Z Stalker. And this is one of the most exciting guys to watch. I feel like MJ is fan favorite. One of the best players I think ever has played in the woods.
Yes, absolutely. And he still got his little metal turtle? He's setting that down?
I think actually, I haven't played with MJ in a while. But this is a new tradition that he started doing after his father passed away maybe a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. And he takes that little metal turtle with him everywhere he goes.
It's awesome. He sets it down on his Mini before each shot. He has the little, and I think I saw him just there, set it on the tee pad. Just a really cool way to kind of, pay some respect to his late father.
And here we've got two-time world champion Barry Schultz. He may be Masters player, but man, he's still got every bit of the talent that he ever had when he won those world titles.
Well, he's fresh off a world title.
Yeah,
fresh off that Masters world title just last week.
Two-time world title and two-time Masters world title. So the guy's just so good.
Austin he was actually bidding that a little bit, but looks like he's going to have maybe a little work left, but nothing too bad.
Yeah, he's not laying anything up. That's one thing about Austin is those young guys. Oh, look at that. SloMez from the start here. Barry Schultz connects from about 45, 50.
Yeah, great putt.
Great.
Oh, and look at that. Fly on, right on the top. Fly on Barry.
That's good advertisement right there. Oh, just a little bit too high there for MJ. Just inside the circle, maybe just outside. I don't know,
right on that area. Paul's like 9 meters here. Ooh, caught that left side. Good putt.
Yeah, just caught that. That's a great start there. 2 birdies on this hole is actually pretty rare. This hole only had 11 birdies yesterday.
Wow.
Only 3 bogeys, though. No double bogeys or anything like that. There's just 63 pars on this hole. So came in at the 4th hardest hole in the course yesterday. And,
wow.
And it was kind of surprising because it's right there in front of you. But the 372 feet with that tight tunnel, it was just the first hole of the tournament. But people just didn't get that many birdies on this hole. So
I got to think first hole of the tournament has something to do with that. But it isn't easy.
No, certainly not. But if you're talking about easy, I feel like this would be the easiest hole in the course. In fact, it came in at the easiest hole in the course with 50 birdies yesterday.
Wow.
Out of 77 players. So
a short position. I believe my card got all 3s.
Yeah, and it's not that it's incredibly easy off the tee. You still have to execute a pretty good shot, but the second shot, it's pretty close to being like just a really, really difficult par 3. But
yeah.
They call this a par 4, though.
But this position we're going to play today in the second round, I think will change things up.
It should change a lot of things up. And Paul's turned his drive over, but pretty good kick. And as tight as that looks over there, there's still some alleys. He can throw a sidearm Anheuser or a little backhand through the gut.
Yeah. And before we get much further, I got to say, all these stats that Jerm is bringing you, that is some painstaking work. He went through the live scoring. He's got this written down in a notebook, and he has calculated all the percentages for you guys, so I cannot take any credit for any of these stats. This is all Jerm putting in the extra work after hours.
Oh, well, if I was just smart enough to run Excel, then I wouldn't have to do this stuff manually, but I've always enjoyed stats, so it's a labor of love for me.
Awesome.
And Austin's going with his little Z media right there, and just keeping it in the middle, which is so important here. The distance isn't necessarily the biggest deal here. It's just keeping it from kicking OB in that little creek there, and you just don't want to get too far right or left.
Yep.
And Austin's furthest out there, electing to go mid-range off the tee. Looks like he has his Buzz OS here.
Oh, nice. But he got out of that mud, which is kind of important there. If he's any shorter, he's in some pretty deep mud.
And he's going to be about 27 feet or so, and nice little position coming back down the hill for his birdie putt.
Barry with a putter.
I mean, it almost kind of begs for you to run it a bit. If you're in position like Barry, you know, I'm kind of surprised that we didn't see any twos yesterday.
It's the combination, you know, uphill and you have to clear this OB creek, so absolutely can't be short. So, and you don't have to worry that much about going super long on an uphill, so it's like absolutely ripe for accidental too.
Right. And you see, Paul put himself in a bit of a tricky spot here, and he just found a way to get through it, and he's going to be the closest to the basket.
Nice shot.
But yeah, that could have kicked something, and there is that OB between where he is and the basket. Something could have happened there, but awesome.
Nice putt there.
Yeah, nice connection.
So it looks like we may be treated to a star frame, as your stats predicted.
This is definitely the most birdied hole, one of the fewest bogeyed holes, but there actually was a triple bogey on this hole. I mean, this hole had some teeth. You know, if you got into that OB creek or you got kicked into the woods.
And you could certainly roll OB off the cage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different things that obviously come into play. When you play in the woods, you have all the roots and the rocks and all that stuff. Moraine definitely has those things. So
yeah.
But we didn't see any of that from our lead card coming up here with a star frame on the second hole. And that's kind of what you expect with these technical woods players.
Yeah, everybody off to the races now.
I mean, you have North Carolina represented 3 times, and that's just a place where these kind of shots are so important.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So these guys develop their games, except for Barry, who started off in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, of course. So anyways.
Yeah, hole 3 here, 88 meters straight ahead. The tricky thing is this little pit on the left is out of bounds. So if you're going to play a mid-range backhand, you could throw a forehand driver perhaps, but you need it to break a little bit to the right just before those trees, or else you're going to need to get kind of lucky. I think you'll see Paul going rock 3, and this is not nearly enough turnover. So this is, again, like I'm saying, this needs to have some luck.
And that's scary. You know, at that distance, if you throw a clean shot all the way through and then you hit those trees, more times than not, you're going to be out of bounds.
Yeah. Did he go? He ended up left of the out of bounds.
Yeah, he got a favorable 4-time world champion kick there.
This is the perfect shot.
Yeah, beautiful.
Turnover right around that tree, sliding right up to the pin.
Barry just throws the softest mid-range and fairway driver shots. It's so beautiful to watch. I mean, the guy's closer to 50 than he is to 40, and he is putting up. I'm not sure if that's 100% true or not, but I think he's somewhere in his mid-40s.
Yeah, sure, certainly.
And he's not showing his age. I mean, he's still throwing the same shots he threw in his 20s. And it's something that I look forward to, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. It's guys like MJ and Barry that are such backhand dominant players, but such fantastic woods players, where they're going to have, without the advantage of using a forehand, they're going to have these turnover shots just absolutely dialed.
And Paul with a little step putt, which we don't typically see from him. Looks like he was trying to avoid one of the tricky trees that he maybe had in the way.
Yeah.
And Austin gets it just over the rim.
Yep.
Good birdie putt there for Austin. And looked like MJ threw the ESP purple banger that he's been throwing since 2008.
Wow.
Still in his bag. The guys in North Carolina that have been playing against MJ since then, have some choice words for that disc because he's been hitting lines with that thing for a long time.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming out of the bag anytime soon.
And right behind Barry, I want to give a little credit to the club here. You can see a little spot there that's been cleared out. That was a big thorn bush area that was inside the circle, and if your disc went in there, it was only about 25 feet long.
Yeah.
You almost couldn't even get it out. And I mentioned something to the tournament staff, and they came through and they recognized that was a bit too much danger.
Yeah, really good choice, I think, to clean that green up a little bit.
Somebody could have got hurt, so it was a nice thing that they cleared that out.
Hole 4 is kind of a unique one. A par 4, sharply uphill to start, kind of over all these roots, and then you got a lot of trees to miss. Today's position is kind of slightly off to the left and straight. Really what you need to do is just make it to the crest of the hill, and then you're definitely going to have some sort of shot if you clear that over the top of that ridge.
Yeah, the main thing to worry about here, obviously you have the low ceiling and the uphill, which always makes for a tricky tee shot, is once you throw it down the middle, if you're lucky enough to do that, you have these 2 trees that are kind of skinny. You can see this big dark one in the middle, but right off to the left side of it from the tee are 2 skinny ones that if you kick off one of those, it's too unpredictable to guess where you're going to land. So.
Sure. Ooh, this could be trouble.
And Austin has held on to his Z-force a bit too long, turned it over, didn't see exactly where he kicked.
I'm not sure how far that cut through, but it isn't good.
And MJ's throwing it pretty much exactly how you want. And those are those 2 trees I'm talking about, but he misses those perfectly.
Perfect shot.
He's going to be in a good spot.
See what Paul's going with. Gonna need a little bit of turnover, but it should still be fine.
He's got so much distance off that tee shot that, I mean, he's going to be a little bit further left than he'd like to be, but he can probably make something work from there.
How did Austin sneak over here and we never saw it?
Wow.
It kicked and rolled, maybe.
And this is a big germ stamped first run Nuke OS that he stole from me at the beginning of the year. Came to my house and said, I'll take that.
Wow.
He's been using it all year, though. It's so cool to see him throw some of the old plastic that I used to throw.
Kids these days, man.
Yeah, no respect. And
easy little turnover there with the putter.
He's got a little bit of work to do, probably just inside 10 meters.
MJ must have heard me say something about him not having a strong forehand. Not that I meant not strong, but just rarely used.
Yeah.
He said, clearly I could have done that with my purple whatever
purple banger
thing. Yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and forehand this.
He just has the shots. I mean, he gets it done. He finds a way. He's one of those guys that doesn't look like he looks carefree out there, and his quirks and his mannerisms suggest that, but the way that he plays is fearless and determined, and he finds a way to get it done.
Absolutely.
And like
There's
I said,
a nice little flex.
Yeah, Paul's just got so much distance that corner really wasn't too hard for him to figure out.
Yeah, I would say, there's a lot of different styles in our game, and, you can say all you want, like I'm saying about a guy being backhand dominant, but there's nobody in the up top echelon that can't get up and down from 250 with a forehand or a backhand.
Right.
Everybody, even if you don't see them do it much, they can.
Right.
Ooh, that was kind of a scary reaction out of the basket, but fell down and in.
Yeah, these chain stars have been dubbed chain outs. They can produce some unpredictable results, but nice to see there that putt from Austin and Paul and Barry is off to a good start. They all stuck in there.
Yeah.
And MJ made that hole looks very MJ-like, very routine.
Yeah.
Very easy.
3 birdies, the 1 par. Austin really, after that drive, par is about as good as you're going to do. You're not going to get up and down from down the bottom of the hill. All right, we are back. Hole 5, 282 feet, breaking to the right. The straight pin you can see here actually won't be used for the tournament due to a bee's nest. So we're going to be playing over to this right basket all 3 rounds. Pretty clear, nice little forehand shot. You just kind of have to decide, are you going to go around the main tree or short of it? Either one can work, but if you don't pick, you're hitting that tree.
Yep, and that's exactly what happens most of the time. If you throw a forehand on this hole, which is probably the traditional route here, there's 2 trees that are really just make you guess which side, or pick which side you want to go in. And
Ooh, just under the cage.
Barry's throwing little ace runs. He's just toying with the card right now.
Yeah.
He's 4 down through 4. Now he's going to be 5 down through 5. Gets rewarded with a little FollowFlight here for his beautiful turnover.
Oh, yeah. Just sneaks it past the tree on the inside.
Look at that clean parabola there. That is just beautiful. Yeah, he's
Nicely done.
showing people how it's done. I would suspect that's a Comet from MJ, but I haven't seen that disc from him before. But I mean,
Got there. A little bit of leaf action, but it had enough to get right through it. See if Paul goes for the out around the outside or inside short. I think that's going to be inside short.
yeah, he's just throwing something pretty overstable to avoid those tree bunkers that we were talking about, and done a good job. And you can't really put it under the basket if you go inside those trees, so you just kind of have to pick and choose. And it looks like he's elected to play it, 25 feet right of the basket.
Yep.
And Austin's kind of throwing a flip up here, which is the only way to avoid those trees and put it close. And we've got 4 players inside the circle.
Nice little kiss off the tree for Austin. Make that putt just a little easier.
And a solid connection there from Paul. Hole 5 was the 3rd easiest hole in the course for the day. Played about a half stroke under par. This is another hole like hole 1. There was no double bogeys or anything like that.
Yep.
But yeah, we had 40 birdies on this hole out of 77 players, which is pretty impressive for the field.
Yeah, that is really good.
And only 3 bogeys to boot.
That makes sense to me because with no OB,
Yeah.
you could bogey it, you could have a spit out, or you could have a roll away or something, and,
Right.
and that will happen with as many players as are in the field. Someone's going to get their bad luck
Right.
on this hole.
Sure.
But overall, it's really one it's hard to wrap your head around bogeying it.
Yeah,
knock on wood, of course, because I have to play it 2 more times.
Right. I mean, these baskets it's just anytime we have moving plastic and flying, and moving chains, anything can happen. So I mean, who knows how those 3 bogeys happen? But I mean, there's so many ways to do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of impressive that there's only 3 bogeys out of this field. But
Yeah. This is one of probably our signature holes out here. Hole 6, 921 foot par 5, really tight off the tee. Then it opens up for a bit. Then it sort of gets borderline ridiculously tight up by the basket. There's trees everywhere. We're playing this left pin here that you can see coming into view. Really a good birdie if you can get it.
Oh, it's incredible.
I think it could certainly be eagled. I think it may have been eagled.
there was one eagle. And,
Somebody not American.
yeah, I'm not going to say who it was. I'll save that for the end of the hole. But yeah, this tee shot. I mean, wow! Look at this. Barry's 5 down through 5, and he just absolutely pures it, and he is in great position for his second shot. I mean, but even with that pure tee shot, there's no way that you can guarantee a birdie until your putt is in the chains in this hole. It's just so hard from tee to green. This hole is kind of reminiscent of where we just came from last week at Idlewild, where you have the fairway, and 2 feet off the fairway, you are in thick rough.
Yeah, and Barry and MJ made that look annoyingly easy.
Yeah. And I'm surprised here to see Paul throw the roller, not because it's not the shot, but because I've heard so much about him throwing the big high Anheuser.
He was trying that. That was his road runner. He's going to find a little bit of rough, but I don't think that's going to be a real problem.
Looks like the rough was thick enough that it caught the roller and left him maybe just a couple feet off.
Uh-oh.
And Austin is a bit short, and he is kicked off to the right.
That is so tough on a long par 5 when your drive isn't very good. It just sort of like you sort of lose hope, I feel like.
Wow. Well, if he lost hope off the tee, he regained it on his second shot.
That was a big shot.
Minus that little kick there. If that had been clean, that could have been another 150 feet up. He would have been in great position for his birdie.
Yeah.
This looked like he just didn't commit to his tee shot.
We played here, obviously, in the 2015 Worlds, and I believe we played a longer position, which we're going to be playing from here on out.
Right.
And my strategy on this hole basically boils down to backhand roller off the tee and then as many forehand rollers as it takes
Right.
before I get to take my putt.
Yeah, this hole does set up really well for the forehand roller. The low grass allows it to roll long distance, but also you have so many trees, and it just feels like that forehand roller has a better chance of getting through them than it.
And I like
that's horizontal.
the thing I like about it is like it's not going to kick 30 feet into the rough.
Right.
Like, I'm just going to go settle in the edge of the rough, rip another forehand roller. Settle in the edge of the rough, rip another forehand roller.
Yep.
And eventually I'll get to move on to the next hole.
And look at this shot from Austin. Just rips his forehand.
Sweet.
He's going to be up there in position for birdie after the poor first shot.
That's pretty incredible because his first shot went all of 212 feet.
Yeah, and you have to get off a clean tee shot in this hole to really put yourself in position. He's still 50 feet or so, but there's a chance. And
Paul hits a tree there. There's a lot of them to be hit. He's going to have to probably settle for par.
And Barry's got his back turned, the patent pending.
Tree says no.
And the patent pending actually is a term that comes from him and Ken Climo, so it's cool to see him using the shot that...
Yeah, it describes when you're throwing a backhand with your back to the basket like that. And like, what, were they fighting over who invented it?
They were fighting over who did it first, and then they decided to just call it patent pending.
Isn't it crazy to imagine like a time when it was like, dude, what are you doing? You're turning your back to the hole? What are you
They're
what are you
inventing
thinking?
shots, yeah.
Yeah, like it's pretty crazy to imagine that.
It's kind of like skateboarders. It's kind of hard to invent new skateboard tricks.
Yeah, but you're playing with a legend. You know,
Right.
if this guy has a legitimate claim to being like, you know what I thought of?
This guy's the Rodney.
Turn him backwards.
Yeah.
Nobody even thought of that before me.
Oh, and MJ, wow, he is so good from that distance there. He almost tickles chains. And
This would be an epic birdie.
and
Ooh.
gives it a little of a run. But you can't really be too disappointed there with a par from where he was off
Not
the tee.
at all. Paul with a bit of a tester for par.
And he connects.
Passes the test as usual. Kind of a slow walk. Not too happy with that, I'm sure.
Yeah, pars are boring.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when you're number one and number two in the world, pars are pretty boring.
MJ.
Look at that guy. He's so much fun to watch. I wonder if he even knows. Like, he's just doing his thing, being himself, but he's just so much fun to watch.
He seems to me like he's like 25% rubber. Like he's just kind of bouncy,
Yeah.
fun guy. I like him.
Yeah, that's a good way of
The
describing
way he
it.
moves.
Yeah. So you did mention there was one eagle, and Simon got it, and I have no idea how he did it. It must have been impressive because this hole is just not one that you expect to get an eagle on.
No, yeah.
It came in as the second hardest hole in the course, and a 5.555 is a great score for our league card here,
Yeah,
or
it
for our
is.
feature card. Yeah, I mean, it just was. There was a 10 on the hole. There was 4 double bogeys, 16 bogeys, only 19 birdies out of 77 players. So I mean,
Wow.
it's a pretty difficult spread there.
Hole 7 is a downhill hyzer shot, but the trees you have to clear kind of growing up more and more every year. So I was calling it's sort of a weird hole. I was calling it a little big hyzer.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
It's kind of weird because it feels like a big hyzer off the tee because you need to get it high.
Mm-hmm.
But if you actually rip it, you're 50 long.
Right. You have to just throw I feel like the nose up stall hyzer is the way to play this one. Kind of
Yeah.
as Barry is throwing it right here. This looks perfect. Yeah, he's just inside
He's
the
right
circle
there.
there.
Yep.
25 feet away or so, pretty much parked for Barry. And that was pretty much exactly what you have to do. Just kind of throw a stall, let the disc do the work, and drop off to the left.
It's an interesting hole though because like here you see MJ going wide rim driver, parking the hole 1 inch from the basket.
Right.
And then I think you're going to see Paul throw a gator. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's strange that way.
I think you could throw a flippy mid-range if you just put enough hyzer on it.
Paul catches the very last tree.
Yeah, he's going to be... It's kind of a disappointing distance on this one. It's not a gimme, but this was the 14th hardest hole in the course, so I guess that makes it the 5th easiest, or 4th easiest.
Yeah. And there's that, went a little big with it. I think he's a little long of the basket there. Paul from probably 50.
Yeah.
Not psyched.
You can... I don't know if that was a spaceship above him, or maybe it was raining.
I think he felt like he threw it over every tree. I think he was just surprised that there was a tree left to catch him.
Okay. I thought it might have been a spaceship.
That's also possible. We could ask him.
Okay.
Austin with a really nice putt there from outside the circle.
And Barry's
connects.
is continuing this awesome start here. 6 down through 7. He is just on a tear.
Absolutely.
This hole came in at 2.53 scoring average. So another one of these holes was coming out about half a stroke under par.
Yeah.
Which is quite a bit. I mean, that's as close to a gimme as you're gonna get in our sport.
Yep, definitely, and probably would be good to see a slightly longer pin.
Yeah, I think it could challenge the players a bit more. But let's take a moment and appreciate MJ's hair in that picture.
Man, maybe more than a moment.
Yeah, I think maybe the best thing to do is go back and pause your video and just kind of appreciate the majesty.
Yeah, listen to the man, I think. That's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Hole 8, 582-foot par 4, very narrow. The tee shot needs to be like a hard thrown, sort of low hyzer, skip to the left as much as you can. And then the next shot is going to be drifting a little bit back right. It's a demanding hole, though. The landing zones are pretty specific, I feel like. You can't just throw it up there and have it look from anywhere.
Yeah, this is one that does really reward a very accurately thrown drive. And this one is a bit more, this is a lot straighter than Barry wanted.
Yeah, that's not going to have really much of a play at all, I would think, from there. I think he's very unlikely to have a putt for birdie.
Yeah, you need to get around, you need to hit this initial gap. And kind of as MJ's throwing, something preferably wide rim to give you that little skip, but I think that might have been another comment.
Yeah, mid. And that can work. If he's going to have an angle from there. I expect this to be a pretty nice shot.
Yeah, this suits up pretty well for Austin's forehand here. And
he's a little straight with it.
But that Nuke OS has got a lot of bite to it.
Yeah.
A good skip there. And he's going to, you'd still like to be another 20 feet closer to the camera from that angle to get a really good look at the second shot.
Yeah.
But you want to hug this thing as hard left as you can.
I think this is a rock 3 from Paul, so he's just trying to not get too crazy with it. And that's left enough where he should have some kind of a flex forehand.
Yeah. And this is one of the few pins on the course that will stay the same all through rounds, and I think that's a great thing. I think this is a really terrific hole.
Yeah.
It's two shots that aren't that long, but very technical. Forces you into throwing a very specific kind of shot, and there's just fair enough of a fairway that it makes you really work.
Look at Barry here.
Yeah, there's only one option from where he was, and that was over the top.
That's really pretty nice, though.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
And if you go short in those woods, if it catches the top of those trees, that grass is thick, and I know people were losing discs on this hole.
Yes. Here comes old purple. Little short.
Yeah, just a bit out of position, doing as much as he could. Maybe he could have gone with something a bit more overstable that could have flexed back a bit, but...
Oh, no.
Gosh, and that was the best position of the card, and he just caught the edge of that tree, unfortunately.
Gonna have to try to lay something up, and looks like he's done no, actually, really, I'm not gonna say he's done a decent job. That was a little lower than he needed. Can Barry keep it going? Almost.
Oh, look at him. He's having fun out here. I was talking with Barry before the tournament, and he said this is in his top 10 courses that he's ever played. And when somebody who's been playing for 30 years says it's in his top 10, that really tells you how much fun he's going to have out here.
Yeah, there are some good courses in this area.
Mm-hmm. Pennsylvania's a great place for disc golf, and MJ's having fun, too, walking in a 38 footer, something like that.
Yeah, beautiful. Sneaks it in. Great putt. Little low with the upshot, but able to get it back with a nice putt from outside the circle.
Yeah, it's the benefit of having that slow putt from 40 feet.
Yep.
Catches those chains and pulls it in.
Oh, boy.
And Austin is going to take a bogey from the best drive.
Looked like something might have distracted him there in the middle of his swing, the way he turned around. Unfortunate.
I'm going to tap in par for Barry. He's going to be okay with that. When you're out of position like he was on this hole, a par is a good score, and he almost connected on just a highlight birdie.
Yeah, really, from that position. He proved me wrong when I said very unlikely he'll have a birdie putt, and he just went huge over the top.
And I believe that's the first bogey we've seen on their feature card today. 2 birdies, 2 quality approaches, and 2 good putts, actually, from MJ and McBeth.
What's the handicap on this one? Hole 9, 108 meters. I got to think this is one of the harder holes.
It's actually not. It's actually it's one of the easiest holes. It's actually the 7th easiest hole.
Really?
Kind of towards there in the middle in terms of difficulty. It came in averaged about 2.66. Now, that's going to change dramatically tomorrow. I imagine this hole will go from being one of the easier to probably the hardest hole to birdie tomorrow.
Yeah. This one, I'm surprised, man. No one in my group was really... I just have a hard time getting up there to get a look with all these trees.
Yeah, it suits a good roller tee shot, as you see.
Okay, that's
there.
how you do it.
That's one way of doing it. Another way is a forehand low flip up through the outside gap. But yeah, it's not an easy hole, and I was really surprised, like you were, to see so many birdies on this hole. But I think part of the reason that there's so many birdies in round one is just the conditions for this place was just perfect.
It was really nice.
I mean,
It's sort of threatening rain, but it never actually did it.
It never rained, maybe 3 or 4 drops of drizzle through the day, and then the temperature was perfect. No humidity. I mean, no wind or anything like that. The course was begging to be pretty much just bombarded with birdies.
Yeah, and you can tell this guy put in his research because he knows, 3 to 4 drops, and he's only in one place at any one time. So if he's out there and he's saying, he might have, if he was very lucky, he felt one of those personally.
Yeah,
and then he had to ask a lot of people to know what those numbers were going to come in at.
It wasn't easy, but I'm glad to do it. Austin with the unconventional spike hyzer, there's a lot of trees that come into play with that hyzer shot, and he's got a long putt. He almost wants to step that in. A little frustration. That would have been a great bounce back after the bogey on hole 8.
Paul, man, these drives are so good.
And yeah, that's pretty much a tap in for Paul at this
Great
point.
birdie.
He's putting really well right now. A little Nate Sexton disc golf pin there in the bottom right there.
I love it.
Supportdiscgolfpins.com. And a good putt there from Barry, continuing his incredible stretch in the front 9.
Yeah, this course is not
Awesome.
happy about the way these guys are treating it.
Barry's happy. Maybe the course designer isn't so happy, but who knows? Maybe he does like to see a little bit of that. I think they kind of trick us into thinking that it's going to be a birdie fest.
I think this hole kind of opens up the hardest stretch of the course.
Oh yeah, this is when things start to really get difficult. The front 9 is certainly the easier of the 2 9s on this course.
Yeah.
But starting from hole 10 and on, it's going to be a lot more difficult holes, a lot more demanding, a lot worse rough, and it'll be interesting to see how these players handle the back 9.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for joining us for the front 9. Some really, really hot scores getting put together here. 2 7-downs and a 6-down. Hope you guys will tune in for the back 9 coverage and see how these guys finish out.
Yeah, and thanks to Innova. Thank you to Jomez. Thank you to Overstable Studios. Thanks as always for tuning in, and we'll see you guys for the back 9.